Welcome to this Jira Align Overview with XLR8. I'm Shane Gallen, and today we're going to be exploring Jira Align, how Jira Align fits into the Atlassian System of Work, the problems that Jira Align enable organizations to solve, the benefits and the results that we're seeing our customers achieve with Jira Align, and a tooling demonstration to bring to life some of Jira Align's capabilities that enable organizations to connect their strategy to their execution in real time. Leaders today are faced with 10 times more decisions. They have to manage trade-offs between budgets, capacity, their roadmaps, and their objectives. They're also managing risks and dependencies that often span across the enterprise. And they need to understand the flow from idea to value and where there's bottlenecks so they can optimize this flow to their customers. So leaders today are faced with the challenge of wiring and rewiring their organization to create real-time feedback loops, real-time insights, and real-time signals that they can amplify and identify where there are areas of success and where there aren't, and where we're starting to see risk so that they can act on this information in real time. And as we talk to our customers, the larger their organization, we often find that this becomes more difficult. So what this means is people and teams, wherever they are in the organization, need to have what they need, when they need it, and in the format that they need it in. In reality, it often looks something like this, and to use some of our customers' words, it felt like everything is everywhere, or it can feel like everything is everywhere, where there's numerous data sources, planning and tracking tools that are hindering visibility, insights, and that ability to adapt to change at the pace that we need to adapt. So with Jira Align, we move from this everything is everywhere to everything is connected, and IT can start to be seen as a value driver and innovation engine. With Jira Align, we can see how our people are connected from that enterprise down through the portfolio and down to the team level, and how our people are connected to the work. So everything from enterprise strategy all the way down to team level execution. So we can see this also in the context of time. So whether it's strategic in nature, we can view this information through strategic snapshots and understand how our strategy is performing, how it aligns with execution, where there's misalignments. Or we can go and view this through the lens of a quarterly increments, or a planning interval. So whether you're getting ready for your quarterly planning, maybe you're mid-quarter and you're in execution mode and you need to understand how you're progressing and where there's maybe bottlenecks that are preventing you from progressing the way that you need to. Or maybe you're getting ready for that quarterly business review and you want to have that real-time information and data to review how you've performed over the last quarter. And of course, all this information is really coming from those sprints and iterations and releases that the teams are executing day to day. So from a time concept, we can view this from that really high level strategic view all the way down to that day to day or sprint to sprint view at the team level. We can also view this through the context of outcomes and different business vectors. So whether that's products, OKRs, your value streams, different platforms or budgets, within Jira Align, we can see this connected view and understand our people, work, and finance in the context of time and outcomes, with team level execution and that real-time data coming from Jira. So Jira Align is enabling leadership teams to set that strategy, manage the portfolio, and optimize customer value, and represents the roof of the house within this Atlassian System of Work. So as you're adopting Jira Align, you can continue to empower your teams to work within Jira whilst extending this planning and coordination through the program, portfolio, and enterprise layers. You can make all that work visible and connect and align all that work to purpose so that you can start to optimize for customer values and outcomes. Our customers are seeing an increase in time to markets. They can see 100% of their work aligned to strategy. They can reduce manual reporting by up to 70% and refocus that energy and capacity on high value items. And they're also seeing an increase in developer productivity by 10%. So let's jump into the Jira Align tooling demo. So here we are on the Jira Align homepage, and using the navigation panel, users can view information through the lens of their enterprise, their different portfolios, their different programs, their different teams, or their different products. And where customers want to connect their people, work, time, and outcomes to their own custom hierarchies, we can see that connected data through the lens of the custom rooms within Jira Align. From here, users can create items of work from themes through initiatives all the way down to stories, as well as other items such as objectives, dependencies, risks, and ideas. So let's take a look through the lens of the enterprise. At every level of Jira Align, we have what are called rooms, and these rooms bring together connected data to provide real-time information and insights for people and teams to have that decision advantage. At the enterprise level, this is called the strategy room, where we see the enterprise strategy through the lens of that strategic snapshot. And in this example, we've got a corporate strategy for 2024, where we can see the enterprise mission, vision, and values, and see how that is connected to strategy and execution within the strategy pyramid. So here we can see how many strategic goals we've got for this strategy, how many underpinning portfolio objectives and program objectives, and the connected work on the right hand side. So the number of themes, the initiatives, and the features that we have. And whilst we're setting strategy here and looking to align this with execution, we can also see where there's misalignment. So in this specific strategic snapshot, we can see that there's 4 misaligned features and 4 misaligned themes that are representing potential waste within this system of work. So as leaders, we can take action on this straight away. To understand our objectives and key results and our strategic goals in a bit more detail, from here we can view this at a high level through the OKR heat map and see how those key results are performing as well. And we can delve a bit deeper into this and understand our strategic objectives, the underpinning portfolio objectives, and the underpinning program objectives, and how they're performing from a key result progress perspective. So we see this through the OKR tree. So we're really looking here at the enterprise level. I want to take you to the lens of a portfolio where we can again view these objectives and key results and see how they're connected to the work. So here we are in the OKR hub within Jira Align, and we're looking at this through the lens of a portfolio, and the specific portfolio we're looking at is the digital services portfolio. And if we want to, we could look at this from a multi-portfolio view if we need to. For this example, we're just going to look at it through the lens of the digital services portfolio. So here we can see our objectives, how many objectives we have, what sort of status they're in. So are they off track? Are they at risk? Are they on track? Are they completed? But this room isn't just about seeing the status of our objectives. We want to understand the status and how our key results are progressing, but not just the key results, how the work is progressing. So when we're seeing key results progressing quite well, and we're only maybe, and there's a good example here, we're a third of the way through the work that's connected to this objective, but we're seeing 90% roughly of a key result progress. We can start to have conversations around, do we persevere with the work and see if we can achieve even more results, or have we maxed out the results that we have here and maybe we reprioritize and reallocate our efforts and capacity to the next highest priority outcome. So we can start to have those really good conversations using real-time data and insights around not just the objectives, but the key results and the work. We can also delve down into, under a specific objective and understand, how are the underlying objectives, so the program level objectives and, maybe the team level objectives, how are they performing? And again, we can see their status, but also how the work's tracking versus the key results. And if we need to, we can open this up and understand a wee bit more detail around the connected work, the key results. Oh, I clicked that twice. So we can see, more information around what this objective is, a bit of a description around it. Again, we can see, how those key results are progressing, the aligned work progress, but now we get the flavor for one out of these key results is not performing as well as the other 3. And again, this might be okay, but we can start to understand maybe why that might be. We can also see how this is tracking over time. So as we expand this out, we get a wee bit more information, and we actually find out that this isn't really due to be achieved until 2026. So whilst we're 20% through that key results, we're actually not doing too bad in terms of that time horizon that we're looking to achieve this in. And we can open this up and see how that's tracking against the ideal value, and we can see that the actual value is tracking quite well. So in this scenario, we may not really have anything to be concerned about. But if we want to understand maybe how the work's progressing, so we did see that there's only, if we look over here, there's only 1 out of 4 items that have been accepted. So it may look as if the work's not progressing the way it should be. But as we come into this objective record, we can see all the aligned work items. And whilst on the OKR hub, we're looking at a count of how many items have been accepted. Here we can see how each initiative is progressing from an execution level. So these progress bars are based on all the stories that are connected to this initiative and how they are essentially progressing at the team level. So we can see in real time what percentage through we are on these initiatives. And we also can see what might be slowing this work down. So what dependencies do we have? What state are they in? So we've got dependencies raised, but are they committed? Are they just in a proposed state? And this is really representing potential blockers to that flow of value for these initiatives. We can also see how our risks are performing as well. So we've got 3 risks here. One that we're just going to accept may happen. We may run out of funding, as well as ones that we've owned and ones that we've got mitigation around. So now we can have a really good conversation around not just the data that we're seeing in this OKR hub report, but the underlying information and what that might be telling us. So as leaders, we can start to make good decisions and act on this in real time. So we looked at that enterprise level, we looked at the portfolio space, and we can see the OKRs here and how it's connected to work. We can also start to think about how do we align around the plan for this portfolio over the next few quarters. So in the roadmap here, we're actually looking at a single quarterly increment or a single planning interval. I want to extend this out so we can look at the current in progress, and we're looking out 2 quarters into the future. So QI6 and QI7 are future quarterly increments. So I can extend this roadmap to view it over a longer horizon. And from here, I can see what is called the initiative by theme view. We have a number of other views here, but for this demonstration, we're looking at initiatives by theme. So on the surface here, we can see all our strategic themes. And if we want to delve down into these strategic themes, we'll take the mobile first one here. We can see all the underpinning initiatives, and we're starting to see some information here as well. So we can use the roadmap to start to align on what that plan is over a number of different horizons for planning. But we're also starting to see some information here in terms of how far through we are. So are we done? What percentage are we progressing? We're also seeing information here around objectives. So these flags are representing when we're looking to target connected objectives. And we're also seeing where there's milestones. So these little stars are showing where there are milestones for these specific initiatives. So we've got a lot of good information here that help us understand where we're trying to get to, but also in real time, how are we progressing? So again, that team level execution at that story level, we're seeing this aggregated view of progress on our roadmap as well. So we can use this roadmap to align on where we're trying to get to, but also to understand how are we progressing. So we've been looking at this through the lens of the portfolio and how we can set the strategy, manage that portfolio, and start to think about how we optimize outcomes within the OKR hub. As we think about that program level, and as we're looking to support coordination and planning, and also get some real-time data and insights, we're here in the program room. So again, at that program level, we've got a room called the program room. We're looking at it for a program called the mobile program. And here for this quarterly increments, we can see how we're progressing on this left-hand side. So we can see that we've got 0 days left and what we've achieved within this quarterly increments. And as you know, as we're in the quarter and as we're seeing this progress, we can get ahead of some of this risk, or maybe some things that are blocking the progress for our teams and programs. So we've got that overall progress. We can see how our objectives are performing and whether they're on track or off track. We can see our dependencies, and again, what sort of state are they in? Are they representing some risk in terms of we've got some dependencies here not committed, some are proposed but not committed, We've got ones that are committed but not delivered, and then we've got, we can see ones then that are delivered as well. So we've got those objectives, those dependencies, and those risks, and we can see on the right hand side how teams are progressing from a point perspective or from a count perspective versus how loaded they are. So these teams look pretty loaded at the minute. So that's just some good demo data. And at the top right hand side here, we're seeing our forecasts of demand versus capacity, and we can see that we're over capacity here in this environment, and we can see this from a team perspective as well. So we can see how this different information is being represented at the team and at the program level, and we can start to make decisions here around: are we taking on too much work? Are the teams overloaded? How are the dependencies shaping up? And what can we do to remove some of these blockers or some of this risk around delivery for the quarter? And front and center here, we can see our backlog for this program. And again, we're looking at this by initiative, so we can see all of our initiatives here, and we can delve down into the different features and see how they're performing. And again, delve down into the story level. And as we see this connected view within Jira Align, we can open up any item at any time and see how that connects all the way back to strategy using the why functionality. So here for the story, we can see what feature it's connected to, what strategy this is important to. So it's important to your technical depth strategy. We can see what initiative it's part of, what strategic themes is it part of, and how are those ranked, and what strategy these are enabling. So this one's enabling us to capitalize on emerging technology trends. Maybe that's some AI trends, and what success measurement and business case are associated with this or not associated with this. So we're seeing this in Jira Align. I did mention that we can continue to empower our teams to work within Jira. So this information is also synced across to Jira software. So any developer, any tester, any business analyst, anybody at the team level can see how their work connects all the way back to strategy, or maybe how it doesn't. So from here, we're seeing that sort of program room, and from this room, we can actually dovetail off into a number of different reports and different views, whether that be your program board where you're sequencing out your plan for the quarter from a sprint perspective and a team perspective, or whether you want to delve out into that OKR hub, or even into the dependency hub as well. So we can delve out into a dependency view from here, which we're actually going to take a look at now. So we've got a number of different ways that we can bring to life that dependency data from a team perspective, at that program level, and actually from a portfolio level. So we're looking at dependency map here across our whole portfolio, and from here we're starting to see where there are areas of risk as well as where we're succeeding. So these blue connected lines between teams are showing us dependencies that have been delivered. The green ones are ones that have been committed to but not delivered, and the red ones are showing us where there are dependencies that are either blocked or there's no commitments. So we're seeing where there's risk to delivery straight away, and we can act on this and support our teams to remove this risk and these blockers. So at any time we can click in and view. So maybe we look at, let's see, the web team, or maybe the cowboy teams, or maybe the Niners. So let's look at the Niners team. We can see all this relationship here, but on the right hand side we can get more details. So we can see those specific dependencies that others need from the Niners, if they're committed versus not committed, and what percentage is done, and then what work did the Niners need from others, and again, what level of commitment is there versus what's been done. And we can delve in and see a specific dependency that's maybe at risk or not committed to, and understand a wee bit more about that and start to act on this information. So Jira Align has a number of these built-in reports, and at every level of Jira Align we can open up these reports that are built in. However, if you do need those custom reports that you need within your organization, you can bring external reports into Jira Align by connecting Jira Align's database called Enterprise Insights with your BI stack and other databases as well. And in this example, we can look at the CapEx dashboard for public biz, where we're bringing information in here from a financial perspective, from that CapEx perspective. So we've got that capability to harness and utilize the existing built-in reports within Jira Align, or use your own BI stack to develop your own custom reports and bring them into Jira Align, or take them to Confluence or anywhere else that you're representing those reports. So thank you for joining our Jira Align tooling demo and Jira Align overview. And before we finish, if you want to know more, you can join our waiting list for our Jira Align workshops using the QR code here, where we will take you through the framework that we use at XLR8. We'll help you understand the economic impact of adopting Jira Align and the steps that you can use to get started. And we also run a series of Jira Align webinars, everything from portfolio management through to product management, and we delve a bit more into objectives and key results. So if you're interested in any of our live webinars, you can use the QR code below as well. So thank you for joining this Jira Align overview with XLR8.